Defamation is a false statement concerning plaintiff made by the defendant to at least one other person other than the plaintiff that is harmful to plaintiff's reputation. Falsely and fault are always required for defamation. Common law elements. 1. A false constitutional rules impact whether plaintiff has burden to prove falsity or defendant has the burden of proof. 2. Defamatory statement adversely affects plaintiff's reputation, must be based on specific facts. 3. Concerning the plaintiff must be reasonably understood that the statement concerns a living plaintiff or a very small group of plaintiffs. 4. Publication. The statement must be intentionally or negligently made to a third person. 5. Harmful to plaintiff's reputation. These are constitutional considerations. Liability for republication. The republisher of a defamatory statement is liable to the same extent as the original publisher. Note, internet service providers or ISPs are not liable for statements made by others posted on their platforms pursuant to federal statute. Damages. Plaintiff's burden of proving damages relies on the type of plaintiff, if statement is a matter of public concern, or if it is slander per se. Truth is a complete defense. No requirement at common law for plaintiff to prove fault. Constitutional considerations. First Amendment considerations arise when defamation involves a public figure, public official, and/or a matter of public concern. Public figures and public officials. So public figures is one who has pervasive fame or notoriety, or who voluntarily assumes a central role in a public matter, whereas a public official is a public office holder. Additional elements are 1. Fault. Plaintiff must prove defendant was at fault, and the standard differs for public versus private figures. Public officials or figures' actual malice standard, which is knowledge of the statement's falsity or reckless disregard to whether it was false. This is distinguished from a private figure, which holds the negligence standard. 2. Falsity. Public officials and public figures must prove falsity. Private figures must prove falsity only if speech pertains to matter of public concern. If private figure, private speech, states may require defendant to prove the truth. Defamation damages considerations. Damages depend on the type of plaintiff, content, and whether the defamatory statement constitutes libel, slander, or slander per se. Libel is a written defamatory statement. Public figures and public officials who prove actual malice may recover presumed damages for reputational harm without any proof. Private figures who prove negligence may recover presumed damages only if speech relates to a matter of private concern. If public concern, private figure may recover only proved actual damages. Note, TV and radio broadcasters are considered liable. Slander is a spoken defamatory statement. Plaintiff must prove special damages unless the statement constitutes slander per se. Special damages are a specific economic loss. Slander per se is a defamatory statement that either A, adversely reflects on plaintiff's business or professional reputation, B, claims that plaintiff has a loathsome disease, C, claims that plaintiff committed a crime or moral turpitude, or D, imputes a woman's chastity. Defenses to defamation are consent, truth, and privilege may be valid defenses to defamation. Consent is when plaintiff consents to one or more elements. For example, plaintiff may consent to an organization investigating her and sharing its findings with potential employers. Truth, allegedly defamatory statements, is true. Truth is a complete defense to a defamation claim. Privilege. Certain types of statements are privileged. Absolute privilege is protect statements by government officials in their official capacity. Qualified privilege exists where defendant's liability for defamatory statements is limited where defendant invites the statement and or recipient has an interest, such as employment reference, credit report, letter of recommendation. Statement to the public interest, such as book reviews, statements to a parole board.